In a village nestled between rolling hills and dense, whispering forests, there was a terrifying tale every child grew up hearing. The tale of a three-breasted witch that roams the forest, luring and stealing children who stray far from home. Though no one actually believed she existed, every child avoided venturing into the forest, afraid of the unknown. But there was one exception: Kelechi. Kelechi was known as the most stubborn child in the entire village. No one, not even his own parents, could control him. While other kids dutifully marched to school, Kelechi would sneak off into the forest to chase birds or hunt crabs by the stream. It didn't matter how much his parents scolded or pleaded with him, he simply wouldn't listen. His friends, who were terrified by the story of the forest witch, would warn him nervously, but Kelechi would laugh, saying only fools believe in stupid stories about witches. One sunny morning, the village was calm, but beneath the peace, doom awaited the one who still refused to listen: Kelechi. His parents had sent him and his siblings off to school, but as usual, he had his own plans. Just before they reached the school gates, he darted down a narrow path leading into the forest, clutching a small basket for crabs. The forest was alive, with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. Kelechi felt free, untethered by rules or responsibilities. As he ventured deeper into the forest, he began to whistle a carefree tune that echoed through the trees. Not long after, he came across an old farmer, walking with a bundle of firewood on his back. "Hey boy," the farmer called, "what do you think you are doing? Don't you know that it is forbidden to whistle at this part of the forest?" Kelechi laughed, dismissing the old man's words. "What's going to happen? Is your witch going to come and get me?" The farmer's eyes darkened. "Mark my words, boy. You would only regret it if you don't turn back and go home." But Kelechi only laughed louder, continuing his whistle as he walked with pride. The further Kelechi wandered, the stranger the forest became. The trees grew taller and closer together. The air felt cooler, almost too cold for a sunny day, and the usual forest sounds faded until there was only silence. He paused, realizing he no longer recognized where he was. The path he thought he'd been following was gone, replaced by unfamiliar terrain, as if he had entered a whole new world. "Maybe I just need to go back the way I came," he muttered, but as he turned, the world around him shifted. The trees seemed to move, their trunks twisting like living things. Panic set in. Kelechi ran, calling out for help, but his voice felt swallowed by the forest. The more he ran, the more lost he became. Exhausted and terrified, he stumbled upon something that gave him hope: a small, crooked hut with a thatched roof and smoke rising from its chimney. As he stepped closer, the door creaked open and a woman emerged. She was unlike anything Kelechi had ever seen. Her skin was a deep, unnatural grey, and her eyes glowed faintly. But what struck him most was her chest. She had 3 breasts, each glowing faintly as if lit from within. Kelechi's heart raced as it dawned on him. This was the 3-breasted witch everyone in the village spoke about. He tried to turn and run, but his legs wouldn't obey. It was as if the ground itself were holding him in place. "A beautiful day for a fresh new catch," the woman said, her voice raspy, yet strangely melodic. "What brings you to my part of the forest?" "I'm lost," Kelechi stammered, his bravado gone. The woman smiled. "Lost, or have you been wondering where you don't belong?" Kelechi tried again to move, but it was useless. "You belong to me now," she said, her smile widening. "You stay here and serve me. There's no way out of this place." Tears welled up in Kelechi's eyes, but there was nothing he could do to save himself. He was taken into the hut, where the air was thick with strange smells, and the walls were filled with eerie shadows. Though he was terrified, his stomach growled loudly, reminding him that he hadn't eaten in what felt like forever. Fear and hunger wrestled within him as he sat on the cold floor, praying for someone to find and save him. The next morning, As the first rays of sunlight filtered through the thick forest canopy, the witch called Kelechi to her side. "You look hungry. Cook something for us to eat," she said, her voice heavy with authority as she handed him some ingredients. Kelechi was surprised, and for a moment his fear eased. She is not so evil after all. What kind of witch gives food to a hungry hostage? He thought to himself, maybe if I do everything she says, I'll be safe and unharmed. Kelechi prepared the food with enthusiasm. The aroma was tempting, and his mouth watered at the thought of tasting it. But when he finished and presented the food to the witch, she laughed wickedly. "Before you eat, you must guess my name," she said. Kelechi blinked in confusion. "Your name? But I don't know your name," he stammered. "Then you will not eat," she declared, pulling the food closer to herself. Kelechi tried guessing. "Ada, Mikechi, Uju." The witch laughed louder with every incorrect name. "Foolish boy, you think I'd have such common names? You have only 15 days to guess my name. If you do, not only will you eat and regain your strength, but I'll also open the forest and let you return home. However, if you fail, you will become my delicious meal," Kelechi begged. But the witch didn't budge. She devoured the food, leaving him with nothing but hunger and despair. From that day on, it became a routine. Kelechi would cook and clean tirelessly, his small hands scrubbing the floor, gathering firewood and fetching water from the stream. But no matter how hard he worked, he always guessed her name wrong and suffered the same fate. Kelechi grew weaker with every passing day, his ribs beginning to show. His energy waned, but the thought of giving up terrified him even more. He knew deep in his heart that if he didn't figure out her name before the 15th day, he would meet a grim end. The day before the final day, in a moment of desperation, Kelechi pleaded with the witch for permission to take a stroll outside the hut. "Please let me stretch my legs," he begged. The witch narrowed her eyes at him and said, "Go, but know this, the forest listens to my command, and there is no escape for you." Kelechi didn't waste a moment. He ran into the dense forest, his heart pounding as he desperately hoped to find help. The forest was alive, filled with many talking creatures, but Kelechi had no idea who to turn to for help. He first approached a group of monkeys swinging from the trees. "Please, do you know the name of the witch in the hut?" he asked. The monkeys chattered nervously, but refused to answer him. Disappointed, Kelechi moved to other creatures and tried his luck, but they all turned away. Kelechi's heart sank. It seemed everyone in the forest was too afraid of the witch to help him. "Am I doomed to die here?" he whispered. Just as he was about to give up, he stumbled upon a familiar creature, Tumble the crab. Kelechi recognized him from his adventures near the river banks. Desperate, he fell to his knees. "Tumble, please help me," Kelechi pleaded. "Do you know the name of the witch in the hut? If I don't guess it, she'll kill me." Tumble hesitated, his claws clicking nervously. "If you don't get her name right, you will eventually become her meal. But if I tell you I risked her wrath, she'll know I disobeyed her rules. Tumble, please help me. Please," Kelechi begged, his voice cracking. "I'll die if you don't help me." After a long silence, Tumble sighed. "Today is your lucky day. Her name is Iyanokutu. But be careful, she is cunning and dangerous. Use this knowledge wisely." Coffee's face lit up with joy and hope. He thanked Tumble profusely and hurried back to the hut. He decided to keep the information to himself for now, waiting for the perfect moment. The next morning, as usual, the witch instructed him to cook, and he did. When he finished and presented the food, the witch stared at him and asked, "Well, boy, do you know my name?" Kelechi pretended to think hard. "Is it a Chiamaka?" he asked. The witch laughed. Then, "Maybe today." Her laughter grew louder. "Wrong again." Finally, Kelechi straightened up and looked her in the eye. "Your name is Iyanokutu." The laughter died in her throat. Her eyes widened in shock, and for the first time, she seemed uncertain. How? How did you know that?" "You gave me your word," Kelechi said firmly. "Now feed me some food." The witch was furious, but couldn't go against her own rules. Her hands trembled with rage as she handed him the food. Kelechi ate like his life depended on it. Once he finished eating, the witch led him to the edge of the forest. "You've been lucky this time, boy. Go home and change your ways," she warned. "But if you ever end up here again, it will surely be the end of you." Kelechi nodded, his heart pounding with relief, as the three-breasted witch opened the door for him to leave. After weeks of captivity, he was finally free. As he made his way out of the forest, Iya Nokutu stormed off in search of Tumbo. She knew he was the only one bold or foolish enough to betray her. When she found him, she hurled her earthenware bowl at him with all her strength. The bowl shattered, but a piece stuck to Tumbo's back, forming a hard shell. Legend has it that this is why all crabs have hard shells on their backs. When Kelechi returned to his village, it was as if time had stood still. His family was overjoyed to see him, though they were shocked at how much he had changed. Thin and weary, Kelechi vowed to change his ways. He became one of the most well-behaved children in the entire village, and his story served as a warning to the others. And so the tale of Kelechi and Iya Nokutu became a legend passed down from generation to generation. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share this story with your loved ones. And hey, if you enjoyed this, follow for more powerful African stories that touch the heart. More twists, more tears, more truth coming your way soon.